Good morning, welcome to Morning Outlook. This is Kim speaking on Friday the 29th of June. Looking at the euro dollar first, and well, seen this rally this morning, early hours this morning, or about 3 o'clock actually, when the European ministers have come to some sort of agreement allegedly on the immigration, on what to do with immigrations in Europe. So it's taken away some of the heat that was sitting across Europe in that respect, in terms of some thought it might break Europe up, but realistically, obviously not that much of it. It just sold off significantly. But anyway, for now then, we've seen this rally up on that previous 4-hour bar. Prior to that, it consolidated. Most of yesterday didn't get into a massive range. Did look like at some point it might go back and test the prior lows there. Where we're sitting at the moment with this current 4-hour candle looks like, well, quite a bearish looking candle, although the momentum switched on this. Now yesterday we did, on the shorter time frames here, have a bit of divergence going off over these lows. That's certainly worked off now. It's really crossed from one side to the other here now. Really, these sort of indicators are not going to really tell me too much. The momentum is dropping, sure, where we can see that the bars come down. So realistically, what's the likelihood of a move down this morning? It's okay. I'm still erring more on the bearish side than the bullish side in the euro, so I will watch this carefully this morning, and if there's opportunities, I will look to sell. I mean, selling back towards maybe the 21.50 would make a logical sense, back into that sort of range, but we'll see what opportunity arises post 8 o'clock. On the other hand, if it did, I would be surprised to get into sort of rally stage. I would be looking, switch to the RSI here actually, I'd be looking for any divergences into the R3 there. It's had a good range there, that's more than the previous day. It's a good chunk of price action, so anything into that sort of area I'd look to be selling into. Right, the pound went with it basically. It wasn't alone. It's still seen as part of Europe in that respect, and off it went with it. So similar sort of picture. The pound was knocking on the door of pushing down lower there, bouncing on the floorboards, so should really say, shouldn't I? It did break midway through the day there, but didn't last for long, but came back, sold off again. It's erring on the weaker side, although I think there's an agreement that more has to be done from both sides on the Brexit factor. It needs to move quicker, but we'll see how that comes to be. Okay, so at the moment the pound also looking a tad weakish, maybe not quite so weak in this pattern than the euro does, but it never rallied anywhere near as much. We'll see how it goes. If it does start breaking these highs this morning, I say the highs this morning, if there's almost a trend line between these last two highs, or the current bar and the previous bar there. If it starts pushing up beyond that, well, maybe it could be on for the R2, but at the moment we'll see. As I said, it's best waiting until post 8 o'clock. Okay, and that's the pound. Dollar yen. Dollar yen didn't really like all of that, although it's not doing too bad. It's had another shove up towards its monthly R1 again, so it's back into that zone of resistance now. It's been there so many times that at some point it's obviously going to break, maybe sooner rather than later. Actually, when you look at this here, it's quite perfect in terms of higher lows, higher highs that have been running through there. Okay, we put a dip in on this one, but in the main they've been pushing up quite well. These untouched daily pivots today won't be massively surprised. A bit of divergence maybe on the RSI here. MACD's not really showing that, not a confirmed one from that point of view, so maybe we'll see which one's the strongest here, whether it comes back to its daily pivot, the untouched daily pivot, or whether it can hang in there. But that too, I mean, it looks like just the dollar selling effectively was created around that 3 o'clock zone. Aussie dollar, perhaps there was something else going on as well. Anyway, Aussie dollar, well, also has had a bounce, probably at 3 o'clock. Gone, don't. Yep, there we go. 4-hourly bars there, showing a bit of a move up there as well, consolidated, and there we go. It went 3 o'clock. So at the moment, erring on that more bullish side, maybe. Perhaps we will have more in these markets today, and we'll see. It's into its R3 at the moment. Yesterday it did best part of nothing. It just chopped for most of the day. So it's really, I don't expect big things, and if we do get something, I expect it to be probably something like what we saw a couple of days ago. So I will stay well away from that one. And my favourite, the Canadian dollar. As you know, I didn't touch it with a barge pole yesterday, and it was probably not a bad thing at all, because for all of the day, apart from a spike up at 8 o'clock last night, it did nothing. And well, it's selling off a little bit at the moment, so some strength's coming through. So this dollar weakness from 3 o'clock in the morning seems to have gone across the markets there. Whether they can hold on to this, we'll see. Yep, dollar weakness is through that point there as well. So we'll see how they do. I mean, again, I wouldn't touch that. I'm just come down to a 15-minute chart here. Just wanted to look what's going on. Don't know why, but just really look at yesterday. It did have a spike, sort of a move down midday there. Perhaps it might be in for a bit more of a trending session at some point, but really don't trust it. So there we go with the pairings from that point of view. Just checking through on in terms of today's news, we should be aware of the following. Well, at 9:30 we've got the final GDP and current account. The current account gives very small moves. GDP itself, unless it is varied, it's not going to give anything, and it is the third test of this, or third result. So, and they very, very rarely change. I've just looked at the last 6 years, 6 results, and none of them have changed. Beyond that, we've got some flash CPI data coming out. We already seen the German data yesterday. May have a little effect around about 10 o'clock. EU summit continues today through the day, so we'll see what comes out of that. That might be positive. That might just push the dollar down, the euro up a bit more, and the pound up. We've got GDP at 130 for Canada. That's a monthly figure. It tends to have little impact unless quite a variation, but we'll see. That's pretty much it. Oh, sorry, I'm forgetting also in Canada is a Bank of Canada Business Outlook survey, so that may give us a kicker at 3:30, but I'm sure most people will be off down the pub at that stage. Have a great day. Bye for now.